Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of the Quarantine Sessions, where I chat to people a lot cooler than myself in the wonderful land of lockdown. Now, my guests this week are a punk rock band who create songs that are brimming with humor, wit, and are designed to be sung along to embarrassingly loudly. I mean, it mainly embarrassing if I'm singing along because my voice and everything. Anyway, they still manage to tackle poignant personal issues as well as any act performing today. With a genuine Album of the Year contender dropping very soon, it is my pleasure to introduce arguably the most handsomest band in the world, Seth and Paul of Grandpa Loves Rhinos.
Wikipedia and history books, they got it wrong. It was never about power or terror all along. Turn it off or else you'll end up the same. That Mario, that Tetris will make you go insane. Video games, they cause violence and fighting. It's not because humans are sick and they're crying. No, it's gotta be the gaming. Turn it off is what I'm saying. I think we gotta pause the gaming now.
Hey, how's it going, Tom? What's up?
Thanks, Tom.
You're very well. I speak no lie. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing in these strange times that we live in?
I'm doing pretty good. Like, as far as in work goes and just life around the house, everything's like pretty much the same. So it's, you just with the mask on and standing away from people, it's not too bad. Like, everything's going pretty well. Overall, things are pretty decent. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we've been trying to keep it normal as best we can. I've got 3 kids, and we actually homeschool by choice, so it hasn't been too big of a change. I mean, just trying to keep things as normal as possible that the city that we live in will allow.
That's it. I mean, that's all you can do is just try and keep your routine as much as possible. But for the unfortunate few that may not have heard of you before, in your own words, could you quickly just introduce who Grandpa Loves Rhinos are?
Yeah, so we're Grandpa Loves Rhinos. Seth and I are the only ones in the band. I play drums, and Seth does all the guitar, vocals, recording, mixing. We're pretty much a DIY band. 99% of it's all DIY. We're brothers, so we grew up together, played in various bands, and since we went to college and we joined the United States Air Force, we've been kind of moving around wherever they're sending us. So we've been geographically separated for, what was it, like over 10, 11 years?
50 years, 60,
Wow.
something like that.
Yeah, 50 years. So, with current technology and just the way that the music, you can record music pretty well these days, we've been able to write music together, stay connected. And I mean, it's worked out, and we've been able to make music that way.
As far as our vibe, like, I think of all the bands, maybe not all the bands, but we just do not take ourselves very seriously. There's some things we do take ourselves seriously about. I think, like, kind of our lyrics and our message, we take pretty seriously, but just everything else, we just like to have fun playing music and doing what we can. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, in a way, you guys are kind of trendsetters because you've been, I was reading, recording and making music remotely over the internet since before all this, current pandemic stuff started, and now everyone's doing it. So if anything, I just think the industry's copying you guys and it's just taking the virtual thing by storm.
We might not look like it. Maybe we do look like it, but we're mostly idiots. By random chance, if that's actually true.
I mean, I like the story that everyone's just copying you. So that's the narrative I've built in my head.
Okay, I'll write that down. Yeah.
But anyway, we're all friends here, and one of the ways that I like to just to get to know my friends a little bit better is to ask the hard-hitting questions right at the top of the show. Mm-hmm. And the hard-hitting question I'd like to ask you guys is, if you were a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you say best represents you?
Oh, that's going to take some thought.
Yeah, I'll go ahead because I'll just say my favorite sandwich. It's peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Oh, very good choice.
Very simple to make. tastes delicious. But you know, if you're like, oh man, I'm hungry, I need a snack quick. It's got fruit, it's got protein, it's healthy, easy, and delicious.
There you go. There you go.
Gosh, I think I am a boring turkey sandwich. Some days, though, maybe some jalapenos on there, just depending on how I'm feeling. But overall, like meets the eye, just kind of a regular-ish looking sandwich. You have to like open up the bread a little bit to figure out what's going on in there. And the bread is a little bit stale, which makes it kind of hard to open up the sandwich to see what's going on inside. But once you do, you might see some jalapenos, some hot sauce, or something weird going on in there.
A little bit of spice on the inside, hidden it down in there.
Yeah, but from the side profile view, it's a boring looking turkey sandwich.
I mean, I would never knock a good turkey sandwich. I mean, that's what I always say about these classics. Because I asked this to a few people, either in real life or in this setting, and people sometimes come up with what I call the classics, like a good grilled cheese, a turkey sandwich, and everything. But I always say they're easy to do okay, they're hard to do right. Like to do a really good turkey sandwich is an art. And I think I'm taking this metaphor a little bit further than I should. But regardless, I just like talking about sandwiches. Anyway.
I love sandwiches. So one weird kind of sandwich that I eat is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a piece of cheese on it.
Okay.
There's one guy in my middle school who used to put cheese on his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I would like kind of make fun of him for it. Like that's gross, that's disgusting. But then I tried it and it was awesome. So even though I think I represent a turkey sandwich, I do like those kind of sandwiches as well.
What kind of cheese would you put in there? Is it sort of the American cheese, or is it a little bit of a thicker cut?
I would say American cheese, or just classic like sharp cheddar. The thing with peanut butter and jelly is it masks the flavor of the cheese, and you really just get the smoothness of it. So yeah, like a Kraft single, like in America, it's just like the most bland. I don't even know if it's actually cheese or not. It might not be. But the flavor is mostly masked, where it's just the texture of the cheese that you get.
I might have to give that a go. I think I've got all the ingredients in my fridge, so that's going to be my afternoon. Anyway, we should probably talk about music, shouldn't we? Always giving me a face.
That's good.
Now, your latest album, Searching for Sarcasm, is out August 7th, if I remember correctly. Yep. What can people expect from this release?
Seth, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. Well, there's 8 songs on the album. As far as in different emotions that the songs convey, I think there's some overconfidence, there's some loneliness, there's some happiness, there's some confusion. The name Searching in the Sarcasm, and sarcasm is spelled incorrectly on purpose, CHASM, depicting the front of our album cover is literally a chasm. But that's kind of a metaphor for what a lot of the songs kind of represent, as far as in most often, not all of them, but most of them, the message and kind of what I'm trying to say in the song is also is mostly the opposite of what the character is singing about. So the character singing, which happens to be me, is singing about something that you'd think like this guy is he doesn't get it. Like he's kind of dumb in that regard. There's like an emotional blind spot, or he just is overconfident about just a misperception that he has. And the point of the song is the glaring miscalculation that this character has. So the underlying theme for most of their songs, not all, is kind of this hypocrisy, or this kind of backwards thinking of the character that is singing.
I really do think that as the bits that I've heard of it, it does hit all those, such a diverse assortment of emotions and themes. I mean, I'm really rubbish when it comes to listening to lyrics the first time around. I always sort of just let the song wash over me, and then sort of on the second or third listen, I sort of dive into it a little bit deeper. And then I was reading about the lyrics to it, and it broke my heart. It really did break my heart in sort of, the way that it's intended, I'm sure. And Seth, obviously you lived through these lyrics and that you're singing about. Was there a sort of a catharsis in translating them into song?
We've actually been misquoted, and it was actually Paul that went through this. I
My
wrote the lyrics for it, so I think the misconception is that I was the one that wrote most of the lyrics for it, but it was Paul that went through it. So kind of
I
Paul
see.
explained what was going on, and then I wrote the words. So I guess the question would be to Paul, like, is the song anything like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I think Seth did a great job of conveying kind of all the feelings that we had. So it was me and my wife, and we did foster care for about a year. And yeah, I think, I mean, like, it still hits me, that song, because it kind of goes through all the emotions of a foster care parent journey, where you're kind of excited at the beginning. You're like, man, I'm gonna like save these kids and change their lives because I'm an awesome parent. I'm not gonna give up, like, no matter what happens, because yeah, it, like, the whole situation just sucks for everybody. Like, they're in a new house, and there's trauma that they've experienced, and so it's just chaos, and you're kind of inviting that into your home. And so you kind of have these emotions of like, okay, I know this is going to be hard, but we can do it, and we're gonna, change these guys' lives. So, and then you get 4 or 6 months into it, and it's just like ultimate chaos, and like I kind of started getting a little depressed with just my mental health and being able to kind of cope with everything that was coming from those kids. And it's not their fault. Like, it's just kind of the consequences that come out from whatever situation they've been living in.
Mm.
And it just kind of comes out in your home. And I had 2 young kids at the time as well. So you kind of get those emotions of like, hey, we're going to press through this, and this is what we were called to do, to take care of the kids that need help. But then at some point, we kind of got to a place where it was just like, I don't know if I can healthily keep doing this. So at a point, we were just like, okay, I need to take a break and be done. And so it kind of then felt like the guilt kind of came in of, I'm kind of taking care of myself before these kids that actually need help. But we ultimately we made the decision to say we got to be done, and it kind of turned out okay in the end. Like, the kids got to eventually get reunited with their mom, and so that was a good story in the end. But the song kind of takes you through this. I'm awesome. I'm not going to give up. And then at a point, you're like, okay, I give up. I can't keep going. And then at the end, we had our friend Andrew from Kept on Hold, which is another awesome kind of chill pop punk emo band, kind of come in with that hard hitting ending at the end of the song that says, we give up a lot of times, but there's someone who won't give up on us, and that's God.
I mean, it's such a powerful song, and yeah, I mean, I don't think the line of Pokemon Band-Aids and Flintstones vitamin C has ever sort of, had such a, I never thought those words in any sort of order would have such an emotional impact on me, but it really does. It really does.
Yeah.
And as I've sort of said to a few people, the best music often comes from some times of strife and trouble. And obviously with the world it is a lot of bands are sort of leaning on that. But all I can do is say sort of thank you guys for sort of sharing these stories and these events in your life and translating them into beautiful cathartic music. So yeah, I mean, I really cannot wait to listen to the rest of the album.
Thank you so much. I mean, that means a lot that you would take the time to listen and even like dig into what the song's about. But we really appreciate that.
Yeah, like digesting the song, like that takes work. So I appreciate you doing that, because like you said, like you can listen to it once and not hear anything, but thanks for taking a second look at it. That's pretty cool.
Well, it was certainly worth it. It was certainly worth it. And it elevates it, in at least the way I listen to it, into a whole other sort of stratosphere of significance. But obviously, as you guys said, you are both serving in the U.S. Air Force and are living in, as you have been for years, in different parts of the country. And so have you guys had much chance to sort of play live or do any sort of shows with this sort of very separate situation that you're writing and playing in?
We haven't, and it would take some pretty large logistical movements in order to make that happen, unfortunately. So for the time being, like for the foreseeable future, until we either randomly get stationed around the same location, or if one of us decides that, hey, the Air Force, for whatever reason, is not right for us now and leaves, and maybe we live close to each other. Maybe in the future we could do that, but our plan right now is not to do that. Just kind of wait and see where the Air Force takes us. And if I'd say if we had to do that, we'd have to like hire people to like add parts in our band because there's only two of us. So I have no idea how we'd go about that. In my mind, our plan is to just keep on making albums, spend the time necessary to make the album that we want to make, the way we want to make it, and the kind of setup we have as far as in how we send music back to each other is working out. Like it's pretty solid, it's effective and reliable. So I think we're just going to keep on doing that until we can't stand it anymore, I suppose.
Fair enough. Who do I have to write to get you guys and your family stationed in the UK for about 6 weeks, just about 6 weeks or so, just to do like a mini tour?
Write your senators.
Will do. That's my next thing after making a cheese and PB&J sandwich.
Yeah.
So that's my day sorted. But anyway, here at UDS, we don't just talk about music. We talk about the breadth of pop culture. So movies, video games, comic books, whatever we think is cool, we end up normally having a chat about it. But with that in mind, if you could have one of your songs featured in anything at all, what would it be?
Oh, man. That's a great question. Oh, so I don't think I would want any of our songs in a video game. I just don't think it would work.
Unless it was like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game.
Oh, actually, you know what? Well, there you go. Maybe that's it. I feel like Tony. Did they still make Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Well, no, I don't know. They're redoing the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, right? That soundtrack was amazing. It had like Goldfinger and like made that band huge, probably.
Yeah, maybe. Man, I didn't think of that. I think probably "Gimme Gimme" in a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, we kind of got the pop punk, emo rock, alternate rock stuff. So I think it would go nicely with that scene.
I couldn't agree more. That was the first thing that came to my head as well, particularly with the re-release of the classic ones later this year. I really hope they do sort of a balance of the old classic bands, but do sneak in a few new ones as well. Because I'm exactly the same as you guys. So much my own music taste was shaped by just listening to that soundtrack again and again and again, and just like Goldfinger, Papa Roach, and all the other ones. Really got into a load of bands through them.
Yeah, for sure.
But this question is mainly for Paul, because I saw an interview with you that you guys did quite recently. And the first thing I noticed, aside from, your handsome faces, was the board games collection you have behind you.
Nice.
And I'm a big fan of board games as well. So I just wanted to know, what board game would you recommend as your favorite?
So I got to go with, it's this one here. It's called Tornado Rex.
Oh, man. You should bring it. They should like grab the box and show the front of it if everything doesn't topple over while.
Oh no! What have I done if the whole thing just comes down?
It'll be fine.
Tornado Rex.
I've not heard of Tornado Rex.
Let's see. I think 1991. So it's got like this, like a 3D mountain here, and the Tornado Rex character comes out of the cave, and it's a top, so it spins around and goes down the mountain and hits the characters as you're trying to reach the top.
So you're trying to reach the top of the mountain with these little plastic little mountain climber guys, and there's certain safe spaces, but there's also like, what was it, cards or dice that would warrant you having to launch the Rex?
Yeah, there's cards, and you have to launch Tornado Rex, and he comes down, and if you're in a cave, you're safe, but he'll hit you off the mountain. You got to start over. Super fun.
He's violent. He spins like 1,000,000 miles an hour, and it's loud. Isn't that kind of loud too?
Yeah, he kind of whistles.
Yeah.
I like that one. We played as kids with, and I actually I found that one on eBay for like $100. So I was like, I have to have this game. It was all complete and everything, but yeah, I definitely love collecting.
Is that Fireball Island next to it as well?
Yep.
Big fan. So, yeah. I never played the original, but the Restoration Games version, I got it this year and I've been loving it.
Yeah, that's the new one they put out. It's fun.
Good choice. Well, none of us can plan for the rest of 2020 with the way that the world is at the moment. It's oh boy, it's been an experience. But as best as you can, what does the rest of this year have in store for you guys?
Like personally, probably just doing same work I've always been doing. As far as in like with the band, which is probably more important, just making more music. My wife, she's also in the Air Force, and her family is like, I don't know how they get this like gene or whatever it is, but they just like building things. Like her family will show up here and we'll just build all sorts of stuff around the house. And they built me a desk, like a custom desk for all my music equipment. I just painted some speaker box things to put my speakers on, to have them at the right height to put on the desk. And so my music making / mixing desk is like the ideal situation. And so that's just like beckoning me to make some more music. So I don't know when I'm going to start again, maybe at some point in this month, next month. Might as well start CD number 3. There's nothing. I mean, if we're going to be going through this weird pandemic thing or epidemic or what kind of everdemic, might as well just keep on making music. So I think that's what we'll probably start doing here soon.
Very cool. Well, looking forward to hearing more music whenever you guys can make it. I'm not going to say no if another album comes out sometime soon.
Yeah, we unfortunately take forever to make music. So even if we start now, it might be a while before it comes out.
It'll be worth the wait. Well, this is basically the end of the list of questions that I've got. So the last question I often end with is, we are Upside Down Shark, and don't ask me why we're Upside Down Shark. It's just a name that we thought up about 3 years ago, and we're in way too deep to change it now. Nice. But anyway, with that in mind, I have to ask you guys, Paul and Seth, what are your favorite sharks? And they can be real, or they could be fictional, like something from a movie like Jaws or from Finding Nemo or whatever. But what would you say your favorite sharks are?
All right. I might have to, maybe Paul can go right now. Paul, do you have a shark you can talk about? Because I have a shirt that has a shark on it that I want to try to find, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you the shark that is my favorite shark.
Sure.
I'm so excited.
I'll probably go first because I think yours is going to be really good. But yeah, I would say like a hammerhead shark, just because you can use it as a tool.
Can you imagine picking up a shark?
It's both a tool and a shark.
All right.
It certainly is.
My favorite shark is the bear shark. Half bear, half shark. 100% dangerous.
This is so weird. I was chatting to a band yesterday who said their favorite shark would be a tiger shark crossed with which had the arms of a grizzly bear. And so this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me, that there's now a shirt with this on it. That's amazing.
Some of my friends got it for me. But yeah, there you go. The old bear shark. It's a classic. I think it was in the Jurassic era, but I'm not sure. There you go.
There you have it. Endorsed by Grandpa Loves Rhino, the bear shark. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today. Thank you so much for your time. So the last thing I have to ask is, where can people find you online?
I mean, pretty much anywhere. Just type in Grandpa Loves Rhinos. There's not a lot of things that are named that. So, I mean, all the digital networks. So Indie Vision Music is where you can go to find everything. They'll have videos. They'll have all of our physical merch. So we got shirts and all that stuff, vinyl, if you want to check out that. So Indie Vision Music, it's a great site for just discovering, new bands and stuff like that. So
very cool. Well, again, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And in the, the blue moon chance that you guys ever do manage to tour the UK, I would love to do this in person sometime.
Sounds
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, thank you
Cool.
so much for your time and your enthusiasm and just excitement for our music. It really means a lot. And thank you for your time doing this and talking to us.
Please,
Thanks,
please
Tom.
stop. The pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all mine.
No.
And for anyone watching at home, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to listen to Searching in the Sarcasm. Whenever you find good music, it will be out August 7th. Hit subscribe for more sort of interviews with all sorts of other creative people. I'm bad at outros, but we'll see you later.
He played Mortal Kombat at the arcade. The way Scorpion Spear penetrates through gang felt way too great. And Billy the Kid, his favorite console was the Xbox One. Before killing sheriffs, he would turn it on to Red Dead Redemption.